A very good evening to all our panelists tonight. Let's say hello to National Spokesperson of the BJP, Nalin Kohli, who joins us from the Mumbai studios. Prem Shukla, Executive Editor, Dopahar ka Saamna, also from Mumbai. Our Rajagopalan, Senior Journalist, is with us here in the Delhi studios, as is Congress Spokesperson Brijesh Kalappa. Also joining us, Professor Kamal Mitra, Professor at the Center for Comparative Politics and Political Theory at JNU. First question to you, Nalin Kohli. The basic question that is being asked is that Mohan Bhagwat is not the Prime Minister. He is not a government functionary. He is not a member of a political party either. Why broadcast his entire speech live on Doordarshan?
Just hear me out for a minute. By the same standards, neither is Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi or any of the functionaries at Rajiv Gandhi Foundation when they've been covered live. Nor is Mr. Mohan Bhagwat a priest or an imam or a Hindu priest or a Christian padri. Because if you can show on Doordarshan, and I have no problems with it, it's good if they show it, on 25th if they can show the Vatican Mass live, what's the problem with this?
But Nalin Kohli, Sonia Gandhi is the president of the Congress, which was in power for 10 years and now is the main
No, there's a difference.
party.
Rajiv Gandhi Foundation is not a government arm. Rajiv Gandhi Foundation is not a government arm. It's not remotely, it claims to be a social organization. It claims to be a non-governmental organization by the same standards as the RSS is.
But the person speaking, Nalin, the person speaking, the examples that you're given are very important political figures.
Of course.
It's not a,
well, I mean, you may not rate Mr. Mohan Bhagwat as an important person, but the nation does. Mr. Mohan Bhagwat's speech, just let's put it on the record. Mr.
So will
Mohan,
all cultural organizations and their heads be given this kind of airspace?
Well, I mean, I could wait for a moment. Why don't you finish your series of questions? I'll answer them.
No, please go ahead. Yeah.
Well, okay. So I was saying, Mr. Mohan Bhagwat may not be important for you, but his address is watched. It's shown live on a number of channels within Maharashtra. It's cut to live by channels from time to time. News channels have a prerogative to even show a laughter challenge, but news channels can't have a prerogative to decide what's news for them. So I think you're going into an area, they decide that it is a news for them, and Mr. Bhagwat hasn't said one objectionable thing. He has said not one objectionable. Well, I mean, that's the prerogative. If they have decided to do it, I just don't see how.
What was the capacity in which Mr. Mohan Bhagwat was given that kind of airspace?
Let's 1 minute stop. Just because Doordarshan happens to be coming from public funds, does that mean Doordarshan doesn't have the right to select what it wants to show? And if Doordarshan had the right to show the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation live, it does not have the right for the RSS because a certain quarter...
this broadcast independently? Because, you know, the basic question here is why is it the first time in history, you know, that it's actually being broadcast live?
Well, it's a first time in... Well, there are many firsts.
Broadcast live in the previous NDA.
Well, there are many firsts. In 1991, there was no private channel. So there was a first time in history when ZT News came up. There's a first time when Times Now came up. There's a first time when Mr. Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister from the opposition. There's a first time. The first time we are debating this too. So that's not going to be an argument that you don't have it.
No,
so, I mean, that's not an argument.
Brijesh Kalappa, Brijesh, you want to come in on this? Is there absolutely no political connection to the fact that Mohan Bhagwat's speech was broadcast live? That's what the BJP says. Would you agree?
You see, today, Tina, we are in a situation where the Prime Minister of India states that he is an RSS Swayamsevak. He used to be a RSS Swayamsevak. Obviously, he will have some kind of affinity to the organization to which he belongs. But that is no reason to get the organization to which you belong to telecast its chief's speech live to an audience which is wholly uninterested. You see, when Mr. Kohli tries to...
You can't make a presumption like the fact that the audience is
Sonia Gandhi, this is interesting.
You can't make a presumption like that.
No, the point is, if Mr. Kohli is now trying to bring in Mrs. Gandhi has contested an election. Has Mr. Bhagwat ever contested an election? Where is the point in bringing...
Has the Pope contested an election? Are you trying to say... Mr. Kalappa, what are you saying? Has the Pope contested an election?
I must inform you, Mr. Kohli, that the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation has received monies from the central government. I hope you know that.
Of course, I know. As also, I'm sure it gets from other parts. I'm not interested in the finances of Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. Why are you informing me? File your returns. The whole world will know.
You're the one who's bringing up the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation.
No, I'm not interested in their financial returns. I'm pointing out the live coverage.
First of all,
the financial returns of the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, what you do with it and what you don't.
RSS is wholly removed from the government. Where is the point in bringing the RSS?
Well, I mean, you should be proud of the fact that the RSS does not have to totter along on grants from the government. You should be proud of that. The RSS is not named after any Congress leader. So therefore, you now go by another. What are you talking, Mr. Kalappa? You expect the RSS to start behaving like the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation? Then where was the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation when the RSS goes in every natural calamity? When the RSS extricates dead bodies from train accidents?
During the freedom struggle?
Let's not dwell on
wait.
Freedom struggle.
Kamal Mitra Chinoy,
where were they?
The president of
they were also
party,
marching down on Pandit Nehru's invitation on Rajpath on 26 January.
Big problem
where were you at that time?
Media channels when they did not show his movement, his speech. So today, if Doordarshan has decided to show Mohan Bhagwat's speech, what is the problem? It's an independent decision that Doordarshan has taken, just like any other media channel would take with perhaps your party president.
No, could you just repeat the question briefly? I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Yes, Professor Kamal Mitra Chinoy, what I was asking was, here is Doordarshan, it's an autonomous organization, apparently, so claims the government, and it took an independent call to broadcast a certain speech. What's the problem? That's the BJP's argument.
Well, I think, first of all, we must not forget, since we're now cleaning up and taking the name of Gandhi, the immense controversy over the assassination of Gandhi, which led to the banning of the RSS. And then Mr. Sardar Patel agreed that the RSS could continue to function as long as it functions as a cultural organization.
Are you going to oppose the telecast or not? That is the question. Whether it can be telecast live or not. We don't need this history.
By giving Mr. Bhagwat,
why did Pandit Nehru then allow the RSS to march on 26 January, Mr. Chinoy? Just because you're with the Aam Aadmi Party, a party that opposes anything and everything and will oppose itself also when it suits it, that doesn't mean you need to come up with an argument as flimsy as that, sir. Tell us a point. Why did Pandit Nehru then allow him to participate?
Mr. Kohli, RSS is not being banned just once. It's been banned yet again. So don't try to,
you may
propagate something that is only
a biased government may ban anybody.
The RSS is not just being banned once.
If Mr. Kejriwal comes and bans Nalin Kohli, that doesn't necessarily mean that Nalin Kohli is criminal. It can be driven by political reasons also.
No, but this is a relevant point. Mr. Kamal Mitra Chinoy, we can keep going back into several years into
let's make a rational argument, Mr. Chinoy.
What is your problem with the broadcast of Mohan Bhagwat's speech? What's your simple answer to that?
Nobody on the panel is here interested in the Aam Aadmi Party's politics, sir.
On the 30th of January, that is remembered every year, and his killers were sent
Professor Kamal Mitra Chinoy,
please answer the question,
Mr. Kamal Chinoy, you are
come to the debate, sir.
which has contributed to the dance in India. Curtsy in the jungles with the Maoists. All the people who die in the Maoist jungles and the Maoist firing come from left-wing thinking. So therefore, from that argument, should you not
yes,
ban
Mr. Rajagopalan.
Gandhi.
Let us come to the
Mr.
point.
Kamal Chinoy, do not bring all this kind of dogmatic
So what is your point?
if you have nothing fresh to say.
Yes, Mr. Rajagopalan, what is your point? Because here we'll keep going off track.
No, but gentlemen, I'll request you to allow Mr. Rajagopalan to also speak now. He wants to make a point. Please go ahead.
There are 2-3 important things in this.
The history
It is as a newspaper man, I say it is a news.
History from you, Mr. Chinoy.
Whatever is said is a news. Whether it is telecast live or not, it is prerogative. Number one. Number two, during the debate on Telangana, the Congress party, the Congress government put it off. It blacked it out. And second thing, Narendra Modi's interview was taken by Doordarshan. It cut. It edited it. Who is going to speak for that? You are talking about the live.
Prime Minister.
Why do you black it out? You should right to speak, right to edit. Who has that right to edit? You are in the era of right to information.
Okay.
Therefore, Mohan Bhagwat's speech is information. The telecast, whether it is right or not, it is prerogative. Nothing to do with Aam Aadmi Party or Congress.
No, Mr. Rajagopalan, you've brought in a very interesting point as a newspaper man yourself. So let's also get an Ajay Bose, senior journalist at this point. Ajay Bose, why is this supposed to be broadcast on Doordarshan? As put on your hat as a journalist, why should Mohan Bhagwat's Vijay Dashmi speech, which essentially is a call to the cadre of the RSS, why should it be broadcast on Doordarshan?
On one point, what has happened today is unusual. There is no question, because even during Mr. Vajpayee's time, we seem to forget, it's not only the Congress government that was there, There was a good 6 years.
Today you are a majority government, Ajay. That is why BJP went ahead that. At that time it was only Dharma.
No, let us not pretend.
It's a coalition Dharma, they did not telecast.
No, please.
Coalition Dharma means
Yes,
the coalition
that's right.
partners did not want.
That is correct.
Coalition partners did not want.
Why should Congress back out?
Mr. Rajagopalan,
Why should Congress back out Telangana debate?
I will please request you to allow Ajay Bose to make his point. Please allow Ajay Bose to make his point, and then you can have your rebuttal, Mr. Rajagopalan. Yes, Ajay, please make your point.
Yeah, then you can have your rebuttal, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let us be very clear. This is unusual. This is unusual because it's not that it was covered as a news item. Obviously, what Mr. Bhagwat says has been covered before, will be covered afterwards, and has been covered today by various channels. No, I mean, it is stupid to equate a live broadcast from beginning to end without any commentary, without anything. It was as if the Prime Minister was speaking or some special thing. So there is no question. This is a little unusual. That is why people are reacting.
No, is it unusual or is it propaganda, Ajay Bose? Is it unusual or propaganda?
I get deja vu because you know why? Because the Doordarshan earlier was synonymous with being used by the government of the day for all kinds of purposes.
So are you suggesting that this was used as a propaganda vehicle? Is that what you're suggesting, Ajay Bose?
Are we going back to the old days where...
Answer that, Nalin. Are we going back to those days? Because Mr. Prakash Javadekar would have us believe otherwise. He was saying, I'm going to reform Doordarshan, give it complete autonomy. Then what are you doing? Where's that autonomy gone?
Well,
exactly. So this backs a different agenda.
Okay, Ajay, may I just make a point? Having been in Doordarshan for over a decade and being on this side too, I've seen multiple phases of it. But I find one thing interesting. Doordarshan in its entire history has never done a program that there is a possibility of a cabinet reshuffle, which is a safe program to do 3 times a year. So therefore, I mean, let's go one by one. Doordarshan has never shown probably a laughter challenge as news, and nor will it probably. So therefore, let's go. Different channels are free, and I have no quarrel with that, are free to decide what they want to show on their platform. Now, just because a channel shows a laughter channels, you can say, no, they are private, they have the right. If Doordarshan decides it's newsworthy to show Mr. Bhagwat, you have a quarrel with it.
But Nalin, the question is Doordarshan deciding this independently? It's not about the choice to show it. It's about who's making that choice, Mr. Rajagopalan. I want to go back to Mr. Rajagopalan because he was making this point. One second. We were talking. 1 second, Mr. Rajagopalan, you have to listen to the question. You have to listen.
That is not a problem because it has the word Rajiv Gandhi.
Congress
Mr. Rajagopalan, please listen to the question. The question is, they were categorically talking about the previous NDA regime as well. When this speech, which is an annual speech, was not telecast. Now, your response to that was it was a coalition government. So essentially, by saying that, yes, but you are saying that there is. 1 second, so you are saying that there is political interference in what Doordarshan is doing. You are yes, but you're saying
the Pope is the head of state, sir. The Pope is the head of state.
You're not listening to the
point. Of the Vatican.
From Vatican to India, he's coming.
He's the head of state of the Vatican. So what is the problem?
Nalin, you know what Mr. Rajagopalan is saying here essentially is that there is political interference in what Doordarshan shows because the previous regime was the coalition regime.
Similarly, during Congress also.
So they get to decide what goes on in Doordarshan.
Narendra Modi's interview to Doordarshan. Before election, Narendra Modi's interview to Doordarshan was edited.
Yes, and we're going to come to Brijesh on that.
Why did Congress black out?
We are going to come to Brijesh on that.
Today.
Nalin, your response.
Rajagopal is saying is that the BJP is doing to the Doordarshan what the Congress did earlier.
Absolutely.
That's the same.
Yeah.
One and the same. Ajay, you know it very well.
BJP is doing
you know it very well.
Doordarshan what the Congress was doing earlier.
Yes, you know it very well, Ajay.
So BJP has become the Congress.
Brijesh, you've got to answer that.
That is what Rajagopal is saying.
There are specific examples that have been brought up. There was that, the edited interview of Narendra Modi aired in May. In fact, we had Jawahar Sarkar even writing, in written, talking about interference to Doordarshan from the then regime, which was the UPA regime. So there are very, very clear allegations which can be pointed right back at the Congress for what the UPA regime did with Doordarshan when it was in power.
Absolutely.
You see, you know, Tina, the incident which Mr. Rajagopal is referring to is an incident after elections were declared. I hope you recall that. And I hope you'll recall I know that no officer would really listen to any minister in the government, particularly when elections are called for. This entire allegation has been gone in through and through. And there have been people who have been identified, who took the flak, who said, no, we were responsible, and all that was done. Now Mr. Rajagopal is trying to bring this in.
Then why did Congress black out Telangana debate in Lok Sabha?
No,
that is also a telecast, live telecast.
The circumstances for that are also explained separately. Now trying to bring these two and trying to give a whitewash to what is happening today, which is something which is unprecedented over the last 65 years, is something which is reprehensible. Today, let me tell you a basic objection. After that, you can explain. You see, the RSS has certain sectarian views, which insofar as the constitution is concerned, we are a secular constitution. We are a constitution. One moment. We are a constitution which professes fraternity, and the RSS is completely, totally opposed to this concept. So naturally, if you are going to today to say that no, RSS has a role, then you should also get in some extremist organizations belonging to other religions. This is the ultimate point.
Before Nalin, before I come to you, let me also get in Prem Shukla on this, because you're saying it's not just about who's speaking, whether he's a political person or not, but it's the RSS and the Congress is saying here is a problematic organization, and why give them that kind of airspace? Prem Shukla.
I must compliment Mr. Kalappa for being an extremely courageous man, for being a man to use the term that sectarian extremist in the same breath when he knows that the Vatican is covered live too. Now I'm very sorry
Vatican, like I've already explained, Nalin.
You're making
I've already explained that the Vatican is a nation. I don't know if you know that. The Vatican, it's a nation, and when the Pope speaks, he speaks as the head of a state. I hope you know that. Don't you know that the Vatican is a separate country? It's also a member of the UN.
Have you ever shown anything from the Golden Temple live? Have you ever shown in your 10 years or 55 years anything from the Hajj live, anything from the Golden Temple live, anything from Vaishno Devi live?
So are you going to show all this live? Are you going to show all this live now?
That's a dangerous argument.
Are you going to show the Golden Temple live? Not asking the question now. Are you going to show the Golden Temple live? Are you going to show Hajj live?
I think you are very courageous, even as a lawyer, very courageous to make that live.
Just a second. Nalin and Brijesh Kalappa, Nalin, for a moment, even you will admit that it's a little farcical to try and equate Mohan Bhagwat to the Pope, just like Brijesh Kalappa explained right now. But you did. You said that if you're going to show the Pope's speech live, why aren't you going to show Mohan Bhagwat's speech live?
If that you can show on a news channel, you can't show the large... 1 minute, Mr. Kalappa, if a question is asked of me, may I answer it? May I just answer it? What I was saying, I'm making an argument that if the midnight mass, it's a wonderful thing, people who celebrate it, why not? Can make it on a news channel. Why can't Mr. Mohan Bhagwat, as the head of the largest organization,
Ajay Bose wants to answer that question. Let Ajay Bose answer your question.
1 second. Does the RSS have its list of members? Does the RSS have its list of members? How do you know it's the largest organization?
You're talking about religious situations and religious leaders, and you cannot equate that here because the RSS is a cultural
on being on the platform of Doordarshan. I'm simply pointing out if that can be on the Doordarshan platform. Why must we choose? Why must Doordarshan choose to go by the likings of the Congress party?
No, Nalin, if you only Ajay Bose to answer your question, you've raised a question. Ajay Bose is answering it. Listen to him. Yes, Ajay Bose.
Nalin. No, Nalin, can you please answer this question?
Tell me.
That you keep on talking about Vatican. You keep on talking. Now, tell me something. Are you equating the RSS and Mr. Bhagwat and what his annual Dashera speech with something like the midnight mass?
No.
Because I think the RSS wouldn't like it.
You are incorrect in assessing that, Ajay.
The BJP wouldn't like it.
No.
None of them pretend the RSS is an overtly religious organization.
No. I'm simply saying,
why are you religious?
You are not hearing it. Why don't you hear me? Why don't you hear me? Ajay, why are you making incorrect analysis and assumptions, so may I answer it?
But why is the Vatican?
So why don't you hear my answer?
So Nalin, let me ask you a question.
Let me answer it.
I can understand Rajiv Gandhi Foundation.
Let me answer it.
Because
you made an incorrect assumption, so therefore let me correct it. I'm saying if the midnight mass can be shown on the Doordarshan platform, which doesn't qualify as news, and why not? Here is another example of something else they choose to show, What is the problem with it? You can't have one set. If they can decide to show the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, which has nothing to do with the government of India, just because it happens to be the Rajiv Gandhi,
That
and they have done so.
The
so what is
Rajiv
the
Gandhi
problem?
Foundation is a valid point.
It's their
Foundation is a valid
If
point.
they choose to do so, how can you find fault if they choose to do so with Mr. Mohan Bhagwat?
You wanted to come in, and so we see this debate going in a direction which
BJP
basically the BJP is arguing, look, we are in a group majority now. If the Congress used the Doordarshan as its mouthpiece, then why aren't we allowed to do the same? Now we have this group majority and we're going to do exactly what we like with Doordarshan.
Yes, Professor Chinoy.
Exactly. That is the message which is coming through. That we are going to be the new Congress.
Certainly not. Is
Yes, Professor Kamal, Mr. Chinoy, you wanted to make a point.
There is no dynasty running the BJP. It can't ever happen.
So then what is the new principled policy of giving freedom to Doordarshan? And let us not pretend that this is a free choice of
That's a separate debate.
Some
Come
Congress
tomorrow morning,
ministers
we are
and
talking
teachers
whether
also
Doordarshan has a right to decide to show something, yes or
Many
no.
times Congress
Yes or
ministers,
no.
children,
Do you
teachers
stand
are
for
right.
freedom of press?
In
Yes
regional
or no?
Doordarshan,
If they choose to
who is
decide,
going to
how can
take
you have a fight with
responsibility for
that?
that?
You want to talk on autonomy, that can be a debate tomorrow. I have my personal views on autonomy, I'll share that. My party has its views,
Okay, Nalin, let's quickly listen to Professor Kamal Mitra Chinoy before we go across to Prem Shukla. Yes, Professor Chinoy.
Who is a political religious figure.
Okay, so you're saying a political religious figure, that's what Mohan Bhagwat is, and he did not deserve that kind of space. Prem Shukla, do you agree that it's the debate right now is not about whether Doordarshan was right in broadcasting that speech or not? The problem really here is about the choice of the person and the organization that he leads, which was given that kind of time on Doordarshan. Prem Shukla.
The Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh has gotten its root in Maharashtra. It has its headquarters in Maharashtra. Its chief is also from the Maharashtra. So I know it very well. So I will just like to use a word Simo Langan. Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, it was 90th foundation day of Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. And in their life, Simo Langan is the best thing which any organization needs. This was the first time when the RSS chief was on Doordarshan, and at the same time, the Prime Minister, who is RSS Swayamsevak, RSS Pracharak, he was on Akashvani, and he was on the same day. And he was also showing it that we are a combined force. Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, Bharatiya Janata Party.
Why use All India Radio and Doordarshan as a big RSS
now Bharatiya Janata Party, now the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now please give me 2 minutes. 1 minute, please give me 1 minute.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Bharatiya Janata Party is the political organization connected with Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, and it has for the first time got majority in the Lok Sabha, 282 seats. So now no one is there to oppose that Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh chief should not be allowed to be covered on Doordarshan. As a media person, I know PTI and even I was covering Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh from last 30-40 years. They were also the government organization. If the media is covering, Doordarshan is media, and there are 10 channels have covered that event today. So if 10 channels are covering an event, why DD should not cover it? But there is a political significance.
I have to interject.
Now they are showing there are dynamics between Nagpur and New Delhi.
That covered it, they took the DD feed. The other 10 channels that covered it basically switched to it because Doordarshan was broadcasting it live, and many channels often cut to what Doordarshan is showing. But they did not lead the way in covering it.
We are sharing feeds to each other.
Channels like us
feeds are shared.
And excerpts of it. One hour uninterrupted.
That is not an issue.
So, but Nalin, what's also interesting is that Mr. Prem Shukla, actually, a lot of your friends who are defending the entire speech being broadcast end up only reinforcing that point where they're saying we have 282 members. So now who's going to stop us? Okay. Now we're going to do exactly what we like.
Might is right.
1 minute. 1 minute. No. Might is right comes from old dynasties and kingdoms. That is maybe in a few political parties.
I think
not in democracy.
Nalin,
Come on.
No, honestly, I must advise you as a friend. I must advise you as a friend that for some reason you are appearing extremely arrogant, Nalin, and it's not good for your party on public television.
Come on. Mr. Kalappa,
please don't be so pugnacious in your remarks.
Mr. Kalappa, you have as much a right to make a point as I do.
I know that you won a big victory.
No.
Show some
no.
grace.
Mr.
Show some
Kalappa,
grace, please.
don't teach me about humility and arrogance.
Brijesh,
Let me decide that for myself. But no, please don't. Just because you don't have a cohesive argument to make, that doesn't mean that I need to be...
All the arguments that you've made have been demolished straight away. And now you want to say that I'm not making a cohesive argument.
Let's leave the
You just tell me one thing, Nalin. You just tell me one thing. Hinduism is a 5,000-old religion.
It doesn't matter.
Hinduism is a 5,000-old religion. The RSS was born in 1922.
Well, yes, I mean, okay, so why don't you tell me where is the birth of your Congress chief? Shall we start going down that route, Mr. Kalappa? Hold on. You want to discuss births? Why don't we start discussing everybody's birth, starting with you, me, and our chiefs and our own party leaders?
Debate, please.
We can go anywhere we like.
Okay,
let me answer a point.
Nalin, what was the point you're trying to make?
I want to make a point on the question you asked. Mr. Rajagopalan, just a moment. Mr. Rajagopalan.